What's going on, y'all? This is Chris with NoLimitSquad, your personal Isochain and fitness vlogging channel. Today is going to be more of a fitness vlog because I wanted to go over with you guys what I'm doing in the gym, the dynamic lifts, and how the Isochain has been translating into those lifts. Now, I did this before, and I'll continue to provide the squad with these updates just so, like, one of the common questions that we get with the Isochain is, this is all well and good, we get the science, but does it actually translate? The answer is yes. I've covered that before, but I want to continue to stay on top of this, explain my training dynamically and how I do the Isochain along with my dynamic lifts. So I'm gonna show you guys what my splits are in the gym right now. All right, guys, so we're gonna start with the incline press here. So a lot of chest and bicep day, and the philosophy behind it is I like to do a major push and a minor pull. So normally I'm doing the bench like you see the guy doing to your right, but I suffered a very minor and more of an annoyance rotator cuff injury back in January. It's whatever, it's my fault, I know what I did, it's whatever, but I'm sticking with machines right now so I could just focus on the power. So a lot of today is 3 sets of 8 to 10. Here I got 10, 10, 7. So I'm only showing you the first 2 sets for my chest and bicep exercise, actually for all of them moving forward. Now the next movement is the bicep curl. Now the bicep curl, this is 135 here, so there's a little bit of back recruitment here, but it's primarily bicep. You can see the bicep, the 2 heads are just exploding right now, so check that. I mean, clearly I'm dying. So complete muscular fatigue, stimulating hypertrophic response. What's interesting is that on the bicep curl for the Isochain, right, I'm usually pulling around the 175, 180. Like 180 is like my best. I have not passed up 180 yet. But what's interesting is before I started the Isochain, you see how there's 3 plates there, right? That's 135. So there was a time where I did 205 for just 1 rep. So I'm interested to see. I wonder if my Isochain would have been a little over 200. I'm interested because now if you take my my 135 and you go times 0.6 or times 0.85, it makes sense what my true isometric bicep curl number is. It totally makes sense. So yes, it does translate. Here with the decline press, working a lot of it of my lower chest. So as far as the Isochain is concerned, 3 things are going to come into factor here. The overhead shoulder press, which I'm now doing at mid position for this new program. The Isochain chest press on the ground, and your shoulder front raise for a little bit more of a shoulder press action. But other than that, that's pretty much it. My numbers for shoulder press right now are in the 150s for mid position, in the 200s for low position. And the front raise is at 90, so I guess that makes sense considering that was about 320 pounds, so it all relates. For the dumbbell bicep hammer curl, which you guys see here, I like to do that at an incline. It completely eliminates the cheating. So it's great laying back like that. I mean, my biceps were absolutely on fire here. Yeah, you saw me just like, yeah, I can't do it anymore. So I love this one. I love switching back to this one every now and then. I've done this one a lot over the years. And as far as the contraction, so it's a 1 second concentric and 2 second return eccentric. So no isometric holds here because all my isometric work, save for one exercise, which you guys will see later, I do it all for isometrics on the Isochain. Now, here's an interesting one. So this is the pin selector, pin selector chest press. Now, I have it at 205 pounds. Now, at chest level C, which I normally have this machine on, I can do the whole thing, 305. I've been doing that actually for a year. But after doing the plated incline and plated decline at 320 and 270 respectively earlier, 1, there's no more gas in the tank. 2, my range of motion is increased because I'm going all the way back. You see how far back my elbows are going right there? I mean, that is just complete muscular fatigue. We are completely tearing up the muscles. There was nothing left. I couldn't even do a push-up after I'm done with this program. So it's fantastic. As far as the Isochain chest press, I'd say that it would mostly factor in the one I just did. And My highest so far was 271. I just looked, and my chest press there was 205. Now this is fatigued after the end of the other two chest exercises, so take that into account. But I'd say that the Isochain is pretty damn accurate for absolute strength. And we know absolute strength is better than our dynamic strength. It is what we can muster up to 100%. Doing the incline bicep curl here, it's very similar to the hammer, except that it's not as much forearm recruitment, if any at all. So I'm totally getting that same 1, 2, 1, 2 contraction here. So it's all about hypertrophy here, not so much about strength like I'm so used to. I'm so used to curling the 70 to 80 and a 90 for like 3 to 5 rep range. So doing these lighter weights at higher reps is just really funny to me, but it is what it is. So just switching up my training protocol here. So now the high row, really driving my elbows back. Now you guys will be able to see when I switch to a side position that I'm only getting up to 90 degrees. There's a little bit of upper back recruitment going on. So you'll see like me come back a little bit and then go right back into the chair. So it's not complete form. I say it's like 90%, so you can see right there. So it's coming down. Obviously there has to be some type of back strength in order to move that at all whatsoever. So my back has gotten strong. This is 360 pounds on a high row, so a lot of bicep, a lot of upper back and lat recruitment here. A lot of the brown boys taking over. What I've noticed is that with the Isochain row, I'm pulling on average mid 400s. I've touched 500s a couple times, sometimes when I'm mad or, you know, whatever. But it's pretty accurate because that's absolute strength versus dynamic strength here. Now, the tricep dip here, I really like this exercise. It's a little bit of a lower chest involved, but it's definitely not taking over. I mean, this is primarily tricep. And you got a little bit of shoulder action as well, but primarily tricep. I have fallen in love with this machine. It is so direct. I love exercises that are direct, and even though there's an odd angle, I'm really getting in that work. 3 sets of 8 to 10 for the. Now switching gears back to a pull down, but this time notice the hand position. So my hands are now facing me. This represents the Isochain row to its complete. I mean, now what's interesting though is I did about 8 to 10. I did 10, 10, 7 here. Again, it's a 7. My third set was just my kryptonite for this back day. But what's interesting to notice about that is that the Isochain row, I always have my palms out anyway, so that completely meshes in well. Now I'm switching to the tricep. I'll get back to that in a second. Now I'm doing the tricep kickback. Now it's funny, my girlfriend, yes, that was a dog by the way. Yeah, my girlfriend's here. She didn't even know she was on camera. She was like, oh, I'm out the way. No, not yet. Okay. I love the tricep kickback. I wanted to bring this one back into my routine. Now, what's interesting here, now these are 40s. I've done a lot heavier weight on the tricep kickback before. But this time I have my forearm on the bench. This allows me to really eliminate any other shoulder recruitment or anything like that. And it goes 100% to my tricep. That's why it's stuck so bad, but I mean, hitting the tricep heads is fantastic. Again, what's interesting about doing that is that I haven't done the overhead tricep extension on the Isochain because it's been bothering my my left shoulder. Like I said, I've been doing these chest machines because of the shoulder injury, which is just about gone at this point. But I haven't been doing that, so I kept a lot of my tricep power, and I'll get back to that in a second when you guys see the tricep skull crusher. Now, the dumbbell row. This is more of a back and core workout for me, as I really need to contract my core so that my shoulder is not going up and down with the movement. So you can see my shoulders is staying in place, even though it's cut out a little bit at the top of the camera, but it's primarily back and bicep. Really yanking, not in a like poor form yanking, but really pulling that that dumbbell. It's a 120-pound dumbbell. So I like that greater than shoulder width position for my feet. The camera just tilted a little bit. That's okay. It's probably that kid's fault. It's all right. But it's really tightening my core up for this one. You know, I'm not sure for the Isochain row how much of an effect it's had. I mean, I feel like it's had an effect, but I've been able to do 120-pound rows for quite a while. This is not anything new to me. So I don't really notice a difference. But with those two exercises earlier, the plated pull down where my palms were facing me, and the high row, I definitely could tell because I weren't able to do those weights before. So again, so here is the plated pull down. This is 270 pounds. And even though you got a little bit of rocking up at top, it's not a huge amount. So the form is being kept primarily. So that's all back and bicep there. So I get 10, 10, and 7 here. It's really interesting how much the Isochain row factors in. Now, tricep skull crusher here. I mean, look at those forearms, man. They really, wow. Okay, getting sidetracked, but so the tricep skull crusher, let me tell you guys something. So for a time, even though they weren't as bad as my knees, my elbows on a tricep skull crusher, they did not compute. I'm telling you, it just hurt so bad. Like getting down at that angle right there, I mean, it just wasn't happening. I could do it, but it felt like something was either gonna pop or the pain was just too great. If you guys have done tricep skull crushers, you know that acute angle that they're coming down into it right about there. I mean, it's so much tension on the tendon right there. So a lot of people get tendonitis on this exercise, myself included. Nothing at all. I mean, it's gone. I mean, I can do these again, and I love doing the skull crushers because I feel it hits directly. It is a burn unlike any other for my triceps, at least. Maybe you guys feel the same. Now, switching to the free weight back extension. I love this exercise. Notice the isometric pause, yielding isometric pause at the top for about 2 seconds. I was holding it for 2 to 3 seconds. The goal for this program is to increase it to 5 seconds near the end of the program. That's going to help a lot with my RDLs, Isochain, and dynamic. But also just to get better at this, I really want to make sure that my lower back is good, so I don't run into that issue I had back in November because I wasn't doing this exercise. I was just doing the RDL. So I feel like that is part of what contributed to the injury because I stopped doing this. Why? I don't know. I was really dumb. Maybe it's because I thought that I didn't have to anymore because of the Isochain, and that is a amateur move on my part. So I will make sure to continue to do this exercise because it hasn't failed me in the past, and I really don't see it failing me in the future. This is great. The time under tension is fantastic for this one. I have a 25-pound plate in my hands. So a lot of strength here for the isometric yielding, isometric pause at the top. It is a staple for my lower back exercises and repertoire. Now, here's where it gets fun. For those that have been following the No Limit Squad channel, the Isochain has completely taken over my knees. My knees have never felt better. Doing this barbell squat at 225. Now, I know the angle's weird, so it's pointing at a downward angle from up top, so you can't really see the nice parallel squats I'm doing, but it's parallel. Doing barely parallel on 135 hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. But now, I mean, it's gone. I mean, this is great, especially doing these unilateral barbell lunges here. Putting right there, that right there, I lost balance a little bit because I haven't really been doing lunges, so my balance is a little off. I have to get that back. But that angle, right when I get down and both, like the front knee is extended and the back knee is almost touching the floor, there is just no way, guys. There is just no way. I wish there was a way that I could accurately describe the pain I had just doing these body weight. Because body weight, I couldn't even get down as far as right there. I just couldn't. It just wasn't happening, let alone throw an extra 95 pounds on top of my body weight. So it's really interesting. That Isochain is no joke. It really has bulletproofed my knees. I mean, I have never felt better. Honestly, the barbell squat didn't really scare me doing these new during the new leg day program I made. It was the unilateral movement because the lunges is what caused the problem in 2017 in the first place. And look, it's now granted, it's only 95 pounds, but again, the point is that I couldn't even do body weight before. And so now doing these with an extra weight, any weight at all, is just, dude, it's insane. I love the Isochain. My leg days are now forever transformed, you know, so you guys are going to see in a clip in a couple minutes that I did a heavier barbell squat and lunge with some knee pads just for protection, not because my knees were hurting. I just want to do it for extra protection because even though I know that my knees are better now, I don't know, I don't want to take any risks, so that's why I did it. Now, Look at those calves. They are so small. I don't like them, and that's why I've been doing a lot of volume, a lot of muscular fatigue, a lot of failure reps. So with the calf raises, I've been going up to 200 for my calf raises. I do it every other day. I've been consistent as hell since January 1st, and they have grown. They've grown a half an inch from January 1st to February 1st. I have not measured them since February 1st, so I'm interested to see what they're at. What I've been doing for the calf raise for the Isochain is I've just been doing the 6-second contractions for strength. What that means is that in the plated calf raise, which you guys will see a little later, that has increased. As far as the reps, it really hasn't made much of a difference. The hip thrusts, what's really improved that are the Isochain RDL and the Isochain, why can't I think of it right now? The deadlift. So doing those, we know that the posterior chain really comes together with the glutes, the strongest and largest, most powerful lower body muscle that we have. The glutes are really strong, so it's important to train them. Something that I just taught myself recently. Shame on me, but it's okay. So I worked myself up. Within 2 months, I got to 405, and here we are. So now I just got to focus on holding the contraction, really popping my hips up at the top. So these are kind of sloppy reps. I just got to 405, so it'll get cleaned up in the next couple weeks. It's already getting better. I feel it. Oh my God, these burned. I cannot sit after I finish doing these, but they are great. I've definitely noticed a difference. My hamstrings get a little bit of carryover from that, but it's really good. So these are the calf raises that I was talking about that have been influenced the most from doing the Isochain calf raise. Now the Isochain calf raise, I'm pulling about 430 consistently. I've touched the fives quite a few times since October for calf raise, but I'm definitely in the 400s. When I started, I was in like the 3s. So it's really cool to see the evolution on the calf raises. Speaking of calf raises, if you guys have never done the reverse calf raise, I mean, this really blows up your calves like I've never seen before. I mean, I can barely walk when I finish these reverse calf raises. So the soleus and gastrocnemius get a lot of the work when you do the traditional calf raises. So I'm facing the opposite way, the ones that we all know. But this really finishes it off. I mean, if you guys have never done this, I highly recommend doing it. As a finisher, I would definitely not recommend doing it near the beginning, because it'll feel like you're walking on cinder blocks, and it's going to completely mess up your movement, potentially injuring you if you do the barbell squat or the alternating dumbbell lunge like I did earlier. Definitely use these as a finisher. But I love these reverse calf raises. They're definitely filling out my calves. I definitely notice it. It's really a good exercise. The Isochain, however, has not really affected these that much. And now for my pride and joy, I have gotten back up to 315. Now, notice I am wearing the knee pads, but it's just for protection. I had no knee problems after this. I was so happy to be able to get all the way down like that. I mean, what? Complete posterior chain. My butt is on fire. 315 for a solid 6. I felt like I had 8 to 10 truly, but I just wanted to take it easy. Just working myself back up to 315. My max was 405 for 3, but with massive knee pain, so I can't wait to get back there. But those were solid. I mean, those were nice and deep. Great range of motion, no knee pain. I mean, that was fantastic. So now this is a week later. Remember those barbell lunges with the 95 pounds on each side? So those were really easy for me. So now I just upped it up to 135. No problem. I mean, my quads were on fire, considering all the other things I did on leg day this day. But it was great. It was fantastic. No knee pain. I mean, it is a new knee. Knees, plural. I mean, it is just great. I was so happy doing these. I mean, don't get me wrong, it sucked. My legs were on fire, but it's so easy, it's so helpful, and just I'm so grateful to be able to do leg day without having any knee pain. It is a game changer. The Isochain saved the day. All right, so that's pretty much my program. One more thing, I did not put my leg day number 2 and my shoulders and abs day. So here's what they are real quick. So the shoulder If you guys saw those, the incline and decline, those blue plated exercises for the chest, upper and lower chest, there's a shoulder one like that too. So I do that. I do the pin selector shoulder press, a front raise, a lateral raise, and a shoulder shrug. So slight bend, come up right into the traps, barbell, and that pretty much makes up my shoulder program. My leg day number 2, I use the V squat, and I load that sucker up to 500 pounds. No problem, no knee issues at all still. So I could obviously do more on the V squat than the barbell squat because there's no muscle stabilizer. The machine takes care of all that stuff. So makes sense logically that we could do more weight on that, right? So I do that. The Bulgarian split squat, which I just got to 65 pounds, which feels amazing. Man, I'm dying at the end of it though. Alternating lunges with 40s, still no problem. A set of 200 on the calf raise, body weight only for now, and reverse calf raise. For my abs, I still do the same 3 ab exercises because they work so freaking well. They are the torso rotation, the lay down abdominal crunch, and the leg lift that you could do on the floor or in the captain's chair, whatever. And I have it with a dumbbell in between my feet. So I need that added resistance to really trigger a hypertrophy response and my lower abs, really get them to pop, really get them to show, get that definition. That's it though, that's my program. If you guys have any questions for me, maybe wondering why I do these specific exercises, I know I explained in the video, but maybe you just have a couple more questions, drop them in the comment section below. All right guys, thanks for watching. If you like the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and if you're not yet part of the squad, come join the squad with us, hit that subscribe button. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.